Today we are reviewing ellipses. So ellipses come in two categories. The equation basically looks the exact same. The only thing that switches around here are these values of A and B here. And key thing you got to remember here is A should be bigger than or equal to B, which should be greater than 0. In general speaking, A is a bigger number. B is the smaller one, unless they are exactly the same, which we haven't done one quite like that yet. So here, when we look at this, 16 is bigger than 12. So this has to be a squared, which makes this b squared. The reason that's important to figure out which one a is because it helps us tell which axis is the major axis and which way the points are going to be set up. Since a falls underneath the y squared, that means our major axis is the y-axis. Whatever fraction has the bigger denominator, that variable is your major axis. So now let's go through and find all the a, b, and c values. So if a squared is 16, that means that a has to be 4. If b squared is 12, we got to take the square root of that, and the square root of 12, well, we're going to get 2 root 3, because that's 4 times 3 to give you 12, and square root of 4 is 2. C squared is a squared minus b squared forever for an ellipse. So a squared was 16, b squared was 12, so that gives me 4. So c is the square root of 4, which is 2. So these numbers right here will help me find all these points that I want to find. So let's do our foci points first. So remember, we're representing 2 points with 1 coordinate, so we're going to use the plus or minus as we go through. Focus points are based off of the c. So since our major axis is the y, that's going to mean that that number is a y value. So this is 0 plus or minus 2, meaning it's 0, 2 or 0, negative 2. Our vertices are our major axis intercepts, and those are based off of a, so that's going to be 0 plus or minus 4. Our minor intercepts are based from the b. Those are going to be on the x-axis, so that's plus or minus 2 root 3, 0. Could create a sketch pretty easily from there, but I'm just looking for the information this time. Let's try one that's a little bit tougher, because this one's more in standard form. So the only thing we need to remember to do here is we're going to move the constant to the other side and get our fractions back into this thing. So that becomes 28, and the way we get our fractions, we need this to be 1. We've got to divide everything by 28. So we're going to get x squared over 4 plus y squared over 7. That's going to be 1. So here, because 7 is bigger, that means this is our a squared, this is our b squared, so that means our major axis is once again the y-axis. That means our focus and our vertices are going to lie on the y-axis. Mine are allowed to lie on the x. So if a squared is 7, that means that a is just the square root of 7, because 7's prime. B squared is 4. That means that b is 2. And come over here and do this other one. C squared is going to equal 7 minus 4, which is 3. So that means c is the square root of 3, because 3 is prime again. So focus, vertices, and then the minor axis intercepts. So we have a major axis of the y. So that means focus and vertices are going to have y numbers, have numbers in the y part. And that's going to come from the c for the focus. So that's plus or minus the square root of 3. And a for the vertices, which is square root of 7, and don't forget the plus or minus. Minor intercepts come from the b every single time, so it's going to be plus or minus 2, and they have a y of 0. we've found the important key features of this graph.